In the mind and managing your brain space, reframing is one of the most important gifts you can give yourself. And I would suggest, and experience shows, start using it right now. So what is reframing? Our words and the way we say them are so powerful. They affect our mental state and even our physiology. And reframing will make any situation look and feel different. And the purpose of using reframing as a tool is to take a situation and to look at it in a more useful and positive way, a better perspective. So those of you stuck with anxious behaviours are already using reframing, whether you know it or not, but automatically and subconsciously as negative reframes, making a situation into what it really isn't. So there you go. You already have the superpower of reframing. It's just time to use it for a better purpose. So from this point, let's reframe anxiety to what it really is, and most importantly, what it isn't. In the past, you've most likely viewed anxiety as a mental illness, so let's do some justice here. Anxiety is not a thing. It's not a disease. You can't catch it. You can't buy it. And most importantly, it's not you and it's not part of you. It's something you do to yourself, a process, an automated and subconscious behavior. So let's even stop calling it anxiety and let's call it the process it really is, which is anxiousness or anxious behaviors. Here's a perspective. Once something is a thing like anxiety, how do you get rid of it? All of a sudden, it's like a commodity or a possession or a disease you were stuck with. It gets its own identity. And if this is the case, how do you get rid of it? Do you need to sell it, give it away, or get a vaccine or even medication? But you can't. But if it's a process, there's always a way out because you are doing it to yourself. A process can be broken down and deconstructed, and it's no coincidence that doing the work with a process is the only way out as well. Regular patterns of subconscious behaviors can also be referred to as habits. So that A word you used in the past may be just a habit of worrying, or could it be a habit of being in your own head and thoughts, a habit of always thinking ahead and looking for the next thing, and so on. Can you start to see here? It's a pattern of behavior and a process. Now the great thing is patterns are predictable and processes can be broken down. So right now, if you think you have anxious behaviors, I want you to ask yourself some simple questions. What do you think the problem is? What do you think you need to do? And most importantly, what do you think is stopping you? So why am I releasing these recordings? Simple, as a learning resource, something a bit different to what's really out there. There is so much information out there right now. Do this, do that, focusing on the quick fix, the next best thing, which is in fact often driving the anxious behaviors even further. Information needs to lay rock-solid foundations, a proven method of building your walls so your structures can hold strong forever, be lasting and sustained. The success you are looking for requires a proven and strategic model and a different perspective to understand how you are doing things, to simply manage your mind and understand a bit more about how it all works. All I can suggest is just follow along with these recordings. Take what you want and leave what you don't want. Just get involved and pay whatever attention you can give. Sometimes things will make sense to you and other times they won't. And other times you'll see them pop up in your head when you least expect them. Now this represents a learning opportunity, and now has never been a better time to stop treating the symptoms and sticking band-aids all over the place and start tackling the underlying processes head on. So what do I mean by that? You may have heard the car analogy. You take your car to the mechanic because the red light's on the dashboard, an engine warning light. You know, the mechanic takes your car and returns in 5 minutes and says the problem's fixed. He says that he put a piece of electrical tape over the dashboard so you can't see the light anymore. Problem fixed, right? So in the case of anxious behaviors, do we just do medications only? Try and find out the why? Deal with the dependencies? Or do we tackle the driving and underlying forces head on? How do we do the anxious behaviors? It's probably a fair statement to say that social conditioning pushes us to learn and achieve, get a good job, get better things, earn money, get the next thing, make and execute plans, which are all great in the right perspective. But the result more and more is that people are geared towards forward planning and constant thinking, trying to constantly reduce risk, make things as more certain and guaranteed. And if we ever get stuck, we look for the quick fix and the easy way out. And there are plenty of perceived options here as well. The more you do something, it becomes a habit in who you are. The forward plan and constant need becomes a habit, and all of a sudden, an anxious mind starts to manifest as a reality you never expected. And as time progresses, you seem to look for more control, more quick fixes, more certainty, what's going on next, and you start sucking up all the information you can like a giant sponge. So much so that you get stuck in your own perspective. You lose grip of what's really happening. You are most likely living in your head in the future. And you start to avoid, and adopt other mechanisms just to get some sort of comfort and self-soothing relief, just to get out of your head. And then before you know it, you're a cooked frog. So what's that all about then? Well, that's the idea that if you put a frog in a pot of boiling water, it will jump out straight away. But if you put it in water at room temperature and gradually and slowly heat it up, it becomes acclimatized and doesn't realize there's a massive problem on the way until it's too late and it's cooked. Just like the frog, all the little things in life will accumulate and creep up on you unexpected. And before you know it, your mind and body are simply cooked. And by this stage, it's often too late. You can't fix the problem by yourself anymore. And mysterious mental and physical issues just seem to start happening, and the whole story unfolds. The simple truth is you just don't have the skills, and that's okay. It's just your lack of awareness of how your brain and body work. The breakdown here: you have been slowly cooking over time, and you didn't even know it. But I am guessing you've made choices along the way, and just looked the other way as well. It's so easy to do as well with, so many ways to avoid the problem. So the harsh truth is that a highly anxious mind and a cooked frog can often just give up, and you risk going from the hyper-vigilant, successful, good thinker and planner to the opposite end of the scale, what is often referred to as depressive behaviours with a lack of purpose, seemingly a limited future, and nothing looks like it will ever get better. Here's today's taskings. What is more important than merely reflecting on concepts is to actively participate and to develop the practical skills. These are going to be referred to as your taskings. You see, we all learn in different ways. So today's tasking is the task of reframing. Now you know it, it's time to use it, in a positive way, of course. So maybe you could do it like this. Right from now on, when you notice discomfort, a thought and feeling that doesn't feel great, maybe just pause for a moment. Notice what it is and what it isn't, and reframe it in a different way to get a different outcome. Right now, you could reframe this audio as to, wow, that was a lot to take in, but if I just take away the practice of reframing, that's enough for now. I can always come back later and get more. So thanks for listening. Listen to the audio again when it suits and share it with whoever you want. If you lose it at any time or you get stuck, you can head over to the website at octafant.com.au and have a look in the blog. They're all listed there as well. So in the meantime, thanks again. I look forward to you listening next time.